My name is Logan. I'll be discussing my threat here. So for the pre-scenario PAVE checklist, the triple mount, I'm on an IFR flight plan, given instructions by ADC to hold on the XYZ VOR and hold east of the VOR on the 090 radio and expect further clearance in 10 minutes. So as a pilot, just a student instrument pilot, but I'm taking my check rider right now. I'm proficient in doing unpublished holds. I practice them quite a bit in my training. The aircraft, I confirm my available fuel, climb, descent performance, and equipment that the plane has. Also confirmed holding speed limits for the airplane. If I'm operating at 6,000, then I need to be at or below 200 knots in the hold. So the environment, I know I'm holding at 6,000. I need to consider wind, icing, and turbulence factors at that altitude that could affect me. External pressures, I have check ride stress and a busy workload as I set up for this hold. Understanding the holding clearance, so based off what I was given, my hold fix is XYZ VOR at an altitude of 6,000. My outbound leg is 090, that's the radial, and my inbound course is 270. And I'll make 1 minute late since that's standard below 14,000. So I'll expect to hear back from ATC for further clearance in 10 minutes. The purpose of holding patterns, what I've learned, it's kind of like a parking garage, as ATC helps filter other aircraft into an airport or just around. Gives ATC a known place of where you're at while they manage other traffic, and it ensures lateral and vertical separation between other aircraft when you're in the hold. So determining the proper entry, what I found, the easiest would be a direct, because you're heading 360 and you cross the VOR, turning right to a 090 heading. So this is what I drew here. You kind of see your falls into that sector that the FAA has published. So it involves crossing the fix, turning to the outbound heading and holding. This is straightforward. This is the easiest and least work entry. So we'll do that. Fuel management and holding considerations. So under FAR 91-167, it explains when operating under IFR, you must have enough fuel to fly to your destination to your alternate if it's needed, and then for an additional 45 minutes of normal cruising fuel consumption. So for holding fuel planning, for departure, everything under FAR 91-167 should have been calculated. For holding fuel, if your aircraft, say, burns 12 gallons per hour at cruise, 10 minutes would equal 2 gallons. So add reserves for additional holds, and a good rule of thumb is another 30 minutes, because they could end up putting you in another hold. And because of approach and weather, uncertainty also exists. You must also account for wind as well. If you estimate that completing the hold, executing approach, and a diversion to an alternate will reduce fuel below legal reserves, declare minimum fuel to ATC. If your fuel will be exhausted below safe reserves, you should declare an emergency. You can always ask for vectors as well, or diversion if the hold time is beyond your safe margin. So lost communication procedure and prevention. Start out with troubleshooting, switching frequencies, messing with your mic, turning volumes up and down. After that, Squawk 7600. The altitude you need to be at needs to be at the highest of these three. Minimum altitude prescribed for IFR, expected and assigned. For the route, it needs to be followed in this order: assigned, expected, or assigned, vectored, expected, and filed. If ATC has given you an EFC time, you would depart the clearance limit or hold at the EFC time. If ATC has not given an EFC and you lose comms, per 91-185, you should depart the clearance limit at the ETA. If the clearance limit is affixed from which an approach begins, start the approach at the appropriate time of EFC or your ETA. To help prevent lost comms issues, always make sure you get the EFC time, because it's kind of your way out if you're holding, and also know your ETA. It's pretty important. So also you can confirm your EFC time on initial clearance. Make sure you got that right and written down. Have a backup communication option, like a handheld radio. Got one in my plane. Biblical integration. Psalm 32:8. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. So preparing for contingencies like field planning and rehearsing lost communication procedures, that displays the use of your wisdom. Diligent planning reflects humility, responsibility of protecting passengers, and obedience. As aviators, we plan and obey the rules laid out for us while we trust God's guidance, which is really good. And here's my references. Thank you.